wonder murmur where whispers weave the heart.
Hello, little hearts. A new whisper begins. In a quiet cottage, where the scent of wood smoke and a mother's cooking filled the air, lived a young man named Jack. He was a kind boy with a good heart, but he was also a bit of a daydreamer, and he loved to sleep in late. His poor widowed mother worked tirelessly to keep them fed, but every day they grew a little poorer, until they had come to a terrible moment. "Jack, my son," his mother said, her voice filled with a quiet sadness. "We have no more food. We have to sell our corn milk white. Take her to the market and get the best price you can. Maybe then we can buy some food." Jack's heart was heavy. He loved their old cow, a gentle creature with kind brown eyes, but he loved his mother more. He took Milk White's rope and began the long walk to the market. He had not gone far when he met a strange old man on the road, a man with a long white beard and a twinkle in his eye. The old man looked at Milk White and then at Jack. "Hello, my boy," the old man said. "That is a beautiful cow. If you give me that cow, I will give you very valuable things in return." Jack, whose mind was a world of magic and adventure, was intrigued. "Valuable things? What things?" The old man, with a mysterious smile, reached into his pocket and pulled out 5 small, wrinkled beans. "These are magic beans," he said. "They will bring you a fortune." Jack, who had been raised on stories of magic, believed him. He gave the old man Milk White and took the 5 beans. He was so happy that he ran all the way home, his heart thumping with excitement. "Mother, look what I've got," he cried, holding out the beans. His mother, who had been watching from the window, saw his excitement and thought he had sold the cow for a good price. But when she saw the beans, her face fell. The light in her eyes went out. "Beans?" she said, her voice a sharp cry of disappointment. "You sold our only cow for 5 beans? You foolish boy!" In her anger, she threw the beans into the garden and sent Jack to his room. "No dinner for you tonight," she said. "You will stay in your room and think about what you have done." Jack, heartbroken, went to his room and cried himself to sleep. The next morning, when the sun streamed through his window, he looked out and could not believe his eyes. A giant stalk, a green, twisting tower of leaves and vines, reached all the way to the sky. The beans had been magic after all. Filled with a new courage, and Jack scrambled out his window and began to climb the beanstalk. The leaves were as big as umbrellas, and the vines were as thick as ropes. He climbed and climbed until he found himself in a strange new land, a place where everything was bigger than normal. He walked down a path of giant flowers until he came to a house that was a great grey castle. He knocked on the door, and a giantess, a woman with a kind but sad face, answered. "Please, ma'am," Jack said, his voice small but brave. "I am very hungry. Do you have any food?" The giantess looked at him with a sad smile. "Yes, I do, but you must leave before my husband, the giant, gets back. He loves the taste of young children and eats them for his dinner." Jack, though he was frightened, was also very hungry. The giantess gave him some bread and milk, and he was about to eat when the ground began to shake. A deep, thundering voice echoed from outside. "Fy fo fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman." The giant roared. "Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." "Quick!" the giantess whispered. "Hide in the oven." Jack, trembling with fear, hid inside the oven. The giant came in, a huge, angry figure, and began to sniff the air. "I smell a child," he grumbled. "Raw or cooked, I don't mind. I can't get enough of those." The giantess, thinking quickly, said, "Oh dear, you're probably smelling the meat I gave the cats yesterday." The giant, satisfied, ate his dinner and then fell asleep, his head on the table. Jack, seeing his chance, crept out of the oven. He saw a great bag of gold coins, and with a brave and greedy heart, he grabbed it and threw it out the window, down to the beanstalk below. He then slid down the beanstalk as fast as he could, his hands and feet burning from the climb. He found the bag of gold and ran home. His mother, seeing the gold, was so happy that she hugged him tightly, tears streaming down her face. From that day on, they were no longer poor. But Jack, a boy whose heart had been set on adventure, was not satisfied. A few months later, the gold was all gone, and he climbed the beanstalk again. This time, he hid in a copper pot and saw the giant come home. The giant, having lost his bag of gold, was even angrier than before. After dinner, the giantess brought out a beautiful chicken. "Lay an egg!" the giant roared, and the chicken, to Jack's astonishment, laid a golden egg. Jack, seeing his chance, grabbed the chicken and slid down the beanstalk, the giant's wife shouting in anger. Thanks to the golden egg-laying chicken, he and his mother were rich once more. But Jack was still not satisfied. He wanted one more thing. He climbed the beanstalk a third time. This time, he saw the giant with a golden harp, a magical harp that played music on its own. The harp put the giant to sleep. Jack, seeing his chance, grabbed the harp. But as he did, the harp cried out, "Master! Master!" The giant woke up with a roar and a look of pure fury on his face. "You little thief!" he bellowed. He chased Jack, a massive stomping figure, down the beanstalk. Jack slid down as fast as he could, his heart pounding in his ears. "Mother, mother, bring me an axe!" he cried. His mother ran out with the axe and they both began to chop at the beanstalk. The giant was right behind them, his feet now on the ground. But it was too late. With a final mighty chop, the beanstalk fell, and the giant, with a terrible final roar, tumbled to his death. Jack was safe, but as he looked at the golden harp and the golden egg-laying chicken, he felt a deep sense of shame and regret. He had risked his life, not for his mother, but for his own greed. He promised her, with a heart now full of a new kind of courage, that he would never steal again and that he would work hard to earn what they had. And from that day on, he did. He and his mother were never poor again. And Jack, the boy who had once been lazy and a thief, became a good and hard-working young man. He had climbed to the heavens for a fortune, but in the end, the greatest treasure he had found was a change in his own heart.
Wonder murmur, the story departs, yet the whisper imparts.